All right, hello. My name's Jason. I use he, him pronouns. We are here to play the Alien RPG. This is a scenario called Alien Ruin. This is the second of 4 sessions. We are playing this game with a bunch of people from the Gauntlet Online community. We're playing it off Gauntlet, but we're all Gauntlet players. We all enjoy that community. If you're interested in checking it out, Gauntlet-RPG is our forums, Gauntlet RPG channel you'll find on YouTube. Check out hundreds and hundreds of the videos we do, see what our play culture's like, see if you like it. Let's go around the table, introduce yourself with your pronouns, your character with their pronouns, and a lot of mysteries were introduced last time. Maybe tell us which mystery you're most curious about, your character is most curious about. Let's start with you, Paul. Tell us about yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm Paul, he, him. The character I'm playing is Darius, also he, him. Darius is the gel that holds Brian and Noah together. I'd like to think of him as that, and sort of the middle ground man. And the mystery, I'm really sort of intrigued about the controlling of aliens, how that's achieved on this planet, and where that leads, and expanding the previous sort of prequel story we see where that connects in. That's really the mysteries I'm interested in.
Okay. Will, let's go to you.
Hi, I'm Will, pronouns he, him, as are those of my character Noah Emerson, although technically he's more of an it, they, because he is a synth who is back into his role of pretending to be a corporate medic, but he is still following his original mission despite the corruption of his handlers to prevent the spread of the xenomorph, and he's here really to make sure that humanity doesn't, try and make more like this attempt. All of these problems are by an attempt to build a weapon, right? And as far as he's concerned, this idea of holding back the alien threat by controlling them sounds a lot like what they were trying to do in the first place that led to the problem. So let's see how that goes. He's currently separated from the others, given that he was the only one who was awake during the entry into the system, and is facing down a xenomorph at this very moment, I believe.
That's right. All right, and Alan, you get the final word.
My name is Alan, he, him. I'm playing Bryant, also he, him. Bryant is, he has officer's licenses. He has flight licenses for commercial starships, but he's Darius's brother-in-law. And in the first series we all played together was definitely trying to stay on the right side of Darius. Bryant is only here because his life has gone to shit since then, and he believes that if this goes to plan, he can get his life back. He believes Peter Wayland when he tells him that it'll be fine if we just deliver. In terms of the mystery, there are so many. In our pre kind of credits scenes last time, we had somebody dragged between some doors by some tentacles. I was seeing the entrance to the mines of Moria there, and then we had these tiny little tentacle things that impaled Darius, but they're tiny. So there's the connection between them and the alien threat, I think, is I'm interested in.
Okay. And I'm sure we will start to answer some of those questions later today. We are using safety tools in our game. So we are using the X card. If you guys get uncomfortable for anything, even if before you were comfortable, but for today, for whatever reason, it's just too much for you, throw that X up there. We will rewind. We will continue our game without the objectionable material. We are also using lines and veils, so it looks like they're the same as we had last time. Feel free to add things as we go along. But right now we have a line on sexual assault and harm to children and a veil on consensual sex and graphic torture. let us return to our game then. So let's pick up where we left off with Bryant and Darius, this tense moment. The sun is rising. The red of the sky is coming up in the distance, and it's getting increasingly hot. Wind is picking up. The sand is swirling. And about 50 yards from where you guys are, there's a rocky shelf, a fairly large rocky shelf, a bit of a slab. And on that slab is this large all-terrain truck that looks like, here it is. It's this large truck, and it has this mechanical ability to deploy this, looks like a large umbrella, a metal umbrella that has a ceramic covering. So it creates this umbrella effect over the top of this truck. And you see that's deployed. This truck is sitting there. And you guys are about 50 yards from this rocky shelf. You're in the sand. And Darius, suddenly the sand beneath you became all unstable, and you're like, whoa. And this huge white tentacle came up out of the sand, extended this long spike that pierced through, I think we'll say, in this game, just a reminder that as long as you don't get down to 0 hit points, you're not really damaged. You're bruised or scratched or whatever, winded. So I think what it does, since it didn't take you down to 0, it pierces through that pant leg, that where that calf is that you were stabbed early on last session. It pierces through that, and as it goes through your pant leg, it instantly creates these little barbs. Like, it has this density control, so it creates these barbs, and as it pulls away, it probably wanted to pull you, but instead it pulls off, a big chunk of your overalls, exposing that wound that you have there on that calf. And we see those spidery blue veins coming out from this point where you were stabbed by the smaller little wispy creature early on. So we are, I think what we need you guys to do, finding yourself in combat with this huge creature, you each need to make a panic check. So on your character sheets, there's a button under roll buttons called panic. Hit that button and it'll kick out a number for us. And Bryant, you have that skill that allows you to take.
Yeah. So I should have put the -2 in. So that is
okay. No, I don't think the panic button, does it allow you to put a modifier on the panic?
It
just kicks it out. Yeah, I think we have to do it in our brain. So Bryant, you end up with a 5, which is fine. 6 or less, you hold it together. Darius, you get I think that's called nervous twitch. So on our handouts, there is one called, under mechanics, there's one called panic table. It's about 8 down. You can always kick that open. It'll tell you what these numbers mean. So nervous twitch means your stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs in short range increased by 1. So I think that would be both of you guys. So Bryant and Darius, go ahead and add a point of stress. As what do you think that looks like, Paul? Your nervous twitch that Darius starts to get. You're muted.
You're still muted, Paul. You're still muted, Paul.
Good point. Yeah, I think as this creature sort of wavers in front of me, it's sort of like hesitant panic. So it's sort of dumbfounded, sort of like,
Okay. So more of these if this one pulls back, and then more of these tentacles start to emerge from the sand. So you realize this thing is under you. Who knows how big it is? These tentacles are all as thick as your body. Although, like I said, they have this ability to kind of extend themselves and to create tiny little tendrils if they want to. It does definitely remind you of the smaller creature, although this is not transparent. These are pretty solid looking. But anyways, I'm going to allow each of you to now take an action. We're not going to, going to kind of do this more abstractly in our mind, so we're not going to map it out. But you basically have 2 zones to traverse to get to this rocky shelf. And someone has opened the door to this truck and dramatically has said, "Run! Get off the sand!" And I'm going to allow each of you guys to take an action. So in this game, when you have a turn, you're allowed to do a slow action and a fast action. Or you can convert your slow action to a second fast action. Fast actions are like getting stuff out, moving, anything that doesn't really require a roll. And then a slow action is usually some sort of roll, an attack, a medical check, manipulation, that kind of thing. So I'll leave it to you. I'm going to give you guys each an action before the monster attacks you or does something. So who would like to go, and what would you like to do?
I just need a reminder. I've got this field commander talent. You can use command to give orders in combat as a fast action instead of a slow action. This means you can give orders twice in the same round. I can't remember what benefit there is from giving orders.
Okay, so what that does is usually it's a slow action to give a command to someone. And what it is you yell out, do this, do that, and you make a command check. And for each success that you get on your command check, you'll give that person an extra die as long as they do what you say. So you have this talent that allows you to do your commands, give command as a fast action instead. So you could do it twice in a round if you needed to.
Okay, so what I'm thinking here is if I say, "Darius, run, Marine," that would give Darius a bonus on their roll. And still allow me to run.
That's right.
Okay.
So let's do it. So make a command check, no modifiers at all. All right, you got 1 success. You're going to give Darius an extra die as long as he does what you're saying. You could push it if you want.
No, I pushed a lot last time and I felt the pain.
Yeah, you're paying for it. It was amazing, though. You would keep missing, and then you get these tremendously good rolls on your pushes. So it worked, the way it's supposed to, I guess. All right, so Darius, you have so then you're going to run half the way towards this rocky shelf. So Darius, there you are with these tentacles coming at you. What do you want to do?
I'm going to run.
Okay. So there's an action called retreat, which allows you to break out of being, in an engaged range with a baddie. So that allows you to move out of being engaged range without them getting an opportunity attack on you, basically. So let's have you do that. I imagine you don't want to get hit by this thing as you try to run away. So that's a mobility check. So that +1 will definitely apply here. So hit mobility and put in a 1 as the modifier. All right.
2 successes.
Great. So you only needed 1. So you move a zone, and then with your second action, what would you like to do?
Move again.
Yeah. So you get right to the edge of the sand, onto this rocky shelf. And then this creature, it's sort of, you see the furrows of the sand moving up as it comes tearing after you, Darius. Obviously, in this game, we go, I go, you go kind of thing. But, simultaneously as you're running, it's right behind you. And Alan, you're sort of, it's not clearly not coming for you, but you're sort of in the way. So I'd like you to make a mobility check to kind of get out of the way of this stampeding beastie.
Now, because I got 2 successes, clearly that's a stunt.
Yeah.
So the stunt I can give is give 1/6 to another PC in the same situation.
Okay.
So you'll automatically get a success at least.
Okay. Yeah, that'll take care of what we were having him roll. So I think maybe you're able to move in a way to zig away from Bryant, and draw it away from his path.
Is it still worth me rolling? Because I could get multiple successes and I could then pass something back. Or am I pushing my luck?
You might be pushing your luck. Let's go with just not even rolling. That you don't even need to, because like we said, Darius had drawn it sort of away to the side a little bit. Okay, so you are you pull yourself up onto the rocks, and this creature comes up, and it has the ability for these tentacles to reach a long ways. Whatever its bulk isn't moving up onto the rocks, but one of these tentacles reaches out to try to get at you, Darius. I'll let you make a mobility check to try to scramble out of reach of this thing. So go ahead and do that. Make another mobility check.
One alien symbol.
Okay, so you have panicked and you can't push when you get this. So push that panic button. You got a 9. So you dropped something. And I think this one is you dropped something, and also I think you get a point of stress on that. Let me double check. Drop item. GM decides what. And your stress level increases by 1. Okay. Let me look at your character sheet real quick. I think you're going to find out later that somewhere in the bits in crawling and running through the sand and you've lost a flare has dropped out of your sheet. So I'm just going to remove that from your character sheet. It got lost in the churning sands. So in addition, you were able to scramble out of reach of this thing, so it's going to get an attack on you. Roll a 6-sided die to see what kind of attack it does. Tell me what you
6.
got. You 6. All right. So let me make a roll and then I'll narrate what happens here. Four successes. Okay. What happens is you go to scramble away, and one of these pseudopod reaches out and wraps around your ankle and pulls you back. And you see one of these tentacles, it sort of flattens out before you, and it sort of expands to create this flat mass. And all of these it creates all of these sharp little teeth. It's almost like a, what are those plants that eat insects? Venus flytrap, kind of thing. It sort of reaches out and it goes to engulf you. You take, one damage.
Can I just? I have fast reflexes. Is it possible I can do something before it inflicts harm?
Unfortunately, no. So, Darius, you can take 1 damage.
Yep.
And when you take damage, you take an extra stress. So add another stress. And you are all these little pseudopods kind of come out and grapple and wind around you. So you're considered grappled and you're being drawn towards this Venus flytrap looking monstrosity. And I will tell you, if you fail to break free, very bad things are going to happen very soon.
Does he not get to roll his armor on that damage?
You do, yes. Go ahead and roll your armor.
Just thinking of you frail, squishy humans.
So, okay, there you go. Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. So
because it's UPP stuff, not USMC.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's dodgy Russian.
Your guys' turn. Each of you can take another set of actions. Alan, you're halfway there. You see, Darius got there, but then it kind of grabbed him, and it's got him, pinned and grappled, and ominous things are about to happen.
Then I'm going to jab a lit flare into the side of this extension.
Okay. So let's see. Let's say you're going to, with 1 fast action, you move. And as you're doing that, we can say you're pulling out the flare and lighting it, and make sounds like a close combat attack. So go ahead and roll close combat, no modifiers. It's under strength.
Okay, so it is. Yeah, not my strong suit, this. Aye, aye, aye.
Roll that panic.
I do that before I have a chance to push.
You can't push when you get a facehugger.
Okay, so that's 8 goes down to 6.
Okay, so you hold it together, but you fail to do. I mean, you probably hit it with the flare, but it doesn't seem to do anything. In fact, as you hit it, it seems to like create. It seems to like instantly make its skin real solid. Like it armors itself. So you hit it, and these sparks just sort of like bounce off of this solid mass of this creature. All right, Darius, there you are. You really, the only thing you can do is try to break free.
Yeah, sure.
This is an opposed close combat check. So you are going to roll close combat, and it's opposed by the creature.
2 facehuggers.
All right, no successes.
No.
All right. So
It's nice
go
knowing you
ahead
guys.
and make your panic check.
6.
Okay, 6 is still holding together. Let me roll my thing. So Darius.
Yep.
You're about to be consumed by this creature.
Okay.
The only way to avoid it is if you were to spend 2 story points, you could get enough successes to break free. It's pretty much a do or die here.
But it would still be there, wouldn't it?
The creature? Yes.
Yeah. No, I'll take the death.
Okay.
Darius!
I'm pulled under the stand.
I don't think you get to keep your story points for your next character.
You do actually.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
carried by the player, not the character. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, so it pulls you towards it, and all of these little pseudopods, these little teeth, all work together to rip Darius into 100 different pieces, and it swallows him most into this huge pseudopod, and slinks back underneath the sand, leaving you, Alan, with this flare in your hand.
Bryant is just standing there saying, Darius, Darius, Darius. And I'm kind of throw the flare away. I'm just, scooping the sand away. Darius, Darius, where are you? Darius.
Nothing.
I think I should roll for panic.
Yeah, sounds fair. In fact, I think that is actually part of the rules. When that player dies, I think there is that rule.
But because of my nerves of steel, I am strangely unaffected. And I look up at the crawler as if to say, help, help.
The man has moved across the sand, or moved across this rock face, this rock shelf towards you, and he says, "Hurry, move away from the sand. You're in great danger."
I kind of stumble backwards away from where this, there's this little depression in the sand, still unable to believe that Darius is just gone.
Right. We'll leave Alan there. We get the close up of Brian's face, and let's cut to Noah. So Noah, we left you. You're in these caves,
Mm-hmm.
and let me get you a picture of that. Sandstone caves. You had just gotten in, and Fati, the woman that's with you, had taken some crystal and put on these glasses, and you had turned around and seen this xenomorph, and it hissed at you, and it's carrying this small creature. And Fati had said something about it's all right. I've got it under control. And you can see that the creature has, now that you've gotten a moment to look at it, you see that it has this metal little implant on the side of its carapace, its head. And there's a little green light, that's a little blinking green light. And you see that Fati's glasses have a similar green light not beeping, blinking on the VR glasses. And the creature, it lets out this frustrated screech, and it all but reaches at you, but that stops, and then it jumps and disappears up into one of these multitude of tunnels that Swiss cheese through this mesa, leaving you there with Fati.
I mean, the camera sees Noah's face being absolutely stony faced as this alien goes, and then as he turns around to face Fatia, it's goes into like a panic look.
Right.
What the hell? How'd you do that?
I don't really know how it works. It's some sort of Weyland-Yutani doodad, but
You with the company?
no, not me. God, no. But this piece of equipment, she gestures. She actually takes it off now. She says this. Somehow you're able to tell them what to do. But even with it off, that the implants, they can't hurt you. But when you wear one of these, if you're able to get in touch with them, I guess it's a weird feeling. I'd say you should try it, but it's actually kind of horrible. But you can kind of control them.
What, like, do you feel like what it feels, or you just tell it what to do?
Yeah, there is sort of like a halo. I guess you're right. You feel kind of crazy, I guess, for a while. In fact,
I've seen those things tear straight through people.
she has sort of a haunted look, and she says, "Yeah, me too."
So then, did Yutani put the implants in him?
I think my leader would probably be the person to be able to tell you more. Let's.
Yeah, but what was it holding?
I don't know. There are these arthropods like that move around in here. I guess we've seen a couple of them. They're as long as you don't get too close to them, they're pretty harmless. Looks like it grabbed one of them.
I've only seen it when you know what happens to things that they grab, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. We haven't been here for long, though. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think you better take me to your leader.
Okay. So we'll have there's a bit of a montage. You can definitely be walking and talking more if there's more you wanted to say. But she leads you through
I figured we were walking as she.
Walking and talking. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a very confused mass of tunnels. But you see that she's following where someone has scratched with a knife or something, has scratched big X's into the sandstone, onto the walls, kind of to lead the way through these tunnels. And she has a flashlight, and I think you might have had one too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're making your way through. Let's see, there was a screen I was going to take you to. Here it is. And we have our first map. And you started over here in these entrance tunnels. So I have it drawn as a fairly simple little direct route, but it's actually a very convoluted mass of tunnels.
Yeah, I imagine that like beyond this, there's more tunnels that I'm just, are not of relevance kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And you move along for, 10 or 15 minutes, and you enter an area where there's a few larger caverns. And she leads you into a large cavern, and these areas, apparently this is where they've been camping, because there's all kinds of like electric lights that are on, like construction lights that are on poles, that light up as you come in, with motion sensors. And in this chamber you've entered, there's a couple dozen cots and like foot lockers and like pieces of clothing laying around and little camp chairs, some camp stoves. It looks like, several dozen people have been camping here, although it's empty right now. There's nobody in here. There's a smaller little cavern, an alcove almost, to the south of here, where there's a pool that sort of reflects the electric light, kind of has, spooky shadows, on the walls. And you see that there's a woman in this little alcove, and she seems to be painting. She's painting on one of the walls with like spray paint and like a brush, quietly going about painting. So you get here, and Fatih says, wait here. I'm going to go let, the leader know that we're back, or, that I'm back and that you're with, that I found you. You're safe here. Relax. I'll be right back. And she goes off towards what's this, the leader's cave. She walks off that way, leaving you alone in this living area.
Immediately, the living area, is that out of sight of this woman who is painting?
No, like you can see her.
I'll go over to the
doesn't
woman who's painting.
You want to go over to her? Okay.
Yeah, it was the sort of like, could I get away with absolutely ransacking whatever's in the living storage quarters, right? And I'm like, this doesn't seem worth the risk, frankly.
She doesn't seem to take any interest in you, so it's up to you. But she seems very, very involved in what she's doing.
Hey, my name's Noah. You okay there? What are you drawing?
One moment. Where's her picture? Here she is. It's this one. And she turns. Well, first of all, you see that there's like a cot here and like a small camp table with some food on it that looks like it's been sitting there for quite a while. And there's paint cans and spray paint bottles, all over this small tunnel or this small cavern. And on the walls, there's paintings, rough paintings, but artistically done, of impressionistically, I would even say, of xenomorphs. And the one that she was working on as you approach is a large flat wall, and she's drawn what we all know as a queen. She's drawing a queen xenomorph. You've never seen one. You probably heard of it, so you definitely can put one and one together to get a sense of what she's drawing. But it has that crest and the extra arms, and instead of the what do they call those pipes, it has like these spiky things on its back, and it's obviously huge and menacing. And as you enter and you say that to her, she turns to you slowly, and she has these huge doe eyes, and she looks up to you, and there's not a lot of recognition in those eyes. Let me pause there, out of character, and let's talk to Paul. So Paul, unfortunately, Darius has died, and you have some choices then who you would like to be. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but let me bounce a few possibilities off of you. You could be this woman. This woman is called the Waif. She is, I'm trying to think what I can tell you without giving away too much. She's deeply troubled by her history with the xenomorphs, but in your hands, she would be coming out of her fugue state and taking a more active role in saving herself if you wanted to play her. You could play that man that was yelling at you guys on the rocky shelf. As Bryant is about to learn, that is Tom Baldwin. That is the now young adult son of Danielle Baldwin, the woman that was killed in our teaser. There's another character coming up pretty soon that we'll be running into. That is guess I'll give it away to give you a chance to decide. It is the older version of Billy Ryder. Billy Ryder, you guys are going to come in touch with, the drug-positive xenoarchaeologist who is here on the planet. I think those are the three choices I can put in front of you. Do any of those sound appealing to you?
Yeah, let's play the guy in the van. Always a good thing. A van with a vehicle.
Van in a van. Okay. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to open up his character sheet for you, give you a chance to read through that. Especially, check out his agenda and his background. Just get a good feel, and start to look over the character sheet and whatnot. Let me open that up. Tom Baldy Baldwin. Okay, so under character sheets, it should be available to you now. Tom Baldy Baldwin. Let me make sure I got him set up. We're in Act 2, so let me put in his updated objective. Okay. And we'll come back to you in a little bit, and then if you have any questions about your character or anything, feel free. We'll try to flesh it out for you. Okay, so back to you, Noah. So this woman, she turns to you with these doe eyes, and she looks up to you, and like I said, she seems distant, but you see her mouth moves, but there's no words coming out. She's really struggling, and she says, she half reaches towards you, and she says, You're not a sister. No. Help me. Help me.
And I have the talent Calming Presence, which allows me to reduce the stress level on another character with I know that she's an NPC and therefore isn't quite, but I was wondering if I could maybe, use that to convey like I am whatever fugue she may be in, like I'm able to talk her into some sort of lucidity kind of thing,
Sure.
Listen, I'm here to help everyone I can, kid. But what? You got to tell me. What's a sister? What's going on? Where's Weyland-Yutani?
Okay. Go ahead and make a manipulation check. What I'll do is I'll give you 2 extra dice for your calming presence. So nice. Put in a 2. You got 1 success. Okay. I'll tell you this. So with 1 success, she's gonna come out of it temporarily and talk to you a little bit. If you want to spend a story point, she'll come out of the fugue state on a more permanent basis.
I don't know. No, this is the thing, is that again, I could find myself alone with a cave full of xenomorphs.
Fair enough. Okay, so she says, she sort of, it's like the effort of talking to you, even that little bit, is really worn her out. And she sort of settles on the ground, and she's got like this paintbrush, and she sort of doodles with this paintbrush as she looks up to you again, and she goes, they're all gone. They gave themselves to the monsters.
People are giving themselves over to these things. Is anyone making them?
She says they're gone. They're gonna do the same to me.
I ain't gonna let that happen, kid. Okay?
And she kind of fades away, and she picks up her paintbrush, and she turns. She again gives you this haunted look again, and she turns and she returns to her painting. But you see on the ground. Go ahead.
Yeah. Who are the sisters?
Let me tell you this and see if you still have that question. You see on the ground where she was doodling, she's drawn, again, very stick figure-y, but with an artistic sort of slant that I myself don't have, but imagine that then. Imagine someone with artistic talent drawing a bunch of stick figures real quickly with a brush. And she has drawn several female-looking figures that are lying down, and you see like the obvious egg shape of a xenomorph egg, and you see one of these eggs she's drawn sort of like a stick figure-y, spidery face hugger, and one of these female figures has a face hugger drawn on its face.
Okay. Well, I say to her, are those the sisters?
She goes, they're all gone.
Where are you from, kid?
I think she's probably gone back into her dissociative state at this point. She's not responding.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, Fatih, you hear her walking back into the living area, and you turn, and there she is, and she's looking at you with a little bit of concern, seeing you. You don't think she heard anything what you were saying, but you being here with this woman, she's concerned.
I look troubled over at the waif, and I go over to Fatih and I say, "What happened to her? She's completely catatonic."
She says, "We years ago we found her. She was the only survivor of a colony overrun by the xenomorphs, and the company had taken her, put her in a loony bin. We broke her out, and she's been this way ever since. She's really attuned to the creatures, though. She can feel when they're around."
Why'd you bring her here?
"She's one of us. She's one of the sisters." She goes, "The leader's ready to see you. You're really excited to see you, actually."
Yeah. Okay. Well, lead on.
Okay.
Grips that axe tightly.
Let's cut back to Bryant and Baldy. So let's pick up. You're inside the truck, okay? And it's fairly spacious in here. You know, it's certainly for a couple people. There's enough room for you to move around. There's a couple like little beds that you can kind of fold down to sleep on, and there's like a table. And you see there's bits and pieces of electronics. It's sort of a disheveled mess. It's a bachelor pad kind of setup. It's a little bit smelly in here, body odor, dirty clothes. And but that scent is under the surface of this more powerful scent. There's a kettle on an electric stove, and there's steam coming from this bluish sort of steam coming out of this kettle. And this mist just sort of inundates this interior of this truck. And Bryant, you feel it having an effect on you. Breathing this in, you don't feel euphoria. You don't feel altered in a drug sense, except for it's like the stress that you've just the very significant stress that you have inside of you, the turmoil at losing your brother-in-law, and it's like you're experiencing it. It's there, but it's under the surface. It's like under a turbulent sea, and you're sort of floating above it. Tell us a little bit about that turbulent emotional state that Brian is experiencing at this point.
Well, I think when I arrive, when he gives me a hand up into the truck, I'm shocked, quiet, and then I'll say something like, "Can I have a glass of water?" Because I noticed, I've just remembered, I'm still dehydrated, and I'll drink several glasses of water. In the hope that stops me being dehydrated. But I think the turmoil is that the only reason I'm here is because of Darius. The only reason that anything that has happened in my life since he and I mustered out of the Marines, all of that has been about Darius. I worked for Darius. My sister married Darius. Darius was the reason that we ended up on that planet being hunted by xenomorphs for Peter Weyland's entertainment. I'm here because they came to Darius. I think Bryant is just feeling, maybe for the first time in a long time, he's feeling his own person. In a funny way, that, you know, there's grief and shock and all of that stuff, but then there's that kind of feeling of, I could do what I wanted to do, rather than I've been doing what Darius wanted to do for the last, you know, thick end of a decade.
Right.
And maybe this slight kind of dissociation from the emotion is giving me that chance to have that internal dialogue with myself about, you know, okay, put the grief aside, because there is grief, but maybe.
Right. So mechanically speaking, both of your characters, Paul and Alan, you have crystal intoxication. So on your character sheet, there's not really a box for this, but I was thinking maybe where there's conditions, starving, dehydrated, and whatnot on the left side towards the bottom. Right above that, there's just the critical injuries. If you just, in one of those critical injuries boxes, put in crystal intoxication. Tom Baldy Baldwin is pretty much always intoxicated by crystal, as we'll probably find out. But functionally what it does for you is it gives you a -2 to your panic rolls, similar to your talent, and those will stack. So you're actually at -4 to your panic rolls when you're intoxicated by this Bryant. And it gives you a +1 to your observation checks. So it's all good. There's no downside at all. And it also gives you this feeling like you're more in tune with your surroundings. Like you can, inside the truck, you both can, you hear like every grain of that sand hitting against the side of the truck, the wind whistling around the truck. And you also feel attuned to the people around you. So, Paul, tell us, what does Bryant pick up from you? What kind of mood is Tom Baldy Baldwin in?
I think he's getting a very sort of chilled, sort of, you know, doesn't give a fuck kind of attitude. Yeah, you know, he's spaced out. He's chill is a very chill thing.
Right. And do you feel ready to play him? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, yeah, all ready to go.
You're good to go? Okay. So let's hear you guys. What do? He's asked for a glass of water. He just,
I've got 0 water, so I won't be able to help him with that, I'm afraid. I said, that's in short supply, my friend.
Okay.
Then I'll be resorted, because I have to get rid of that dehydration fairly soon, don't I?
Well, you did drink, so you are going to, after another hour or two passes, it's going to go away because you did drink. It just takes a little while for the water, you know, to kind of get into your system, so to speak, to recover. Although if you don't get more water, I think you might have had a little water left, but you know, if you don't get more, eventually you'll, be back to that same place. And you probably do inside this truck, there's obviously like little prepackaged containers of food. There's probably like a water reclamation, machinery, so, whatever Tom is saying, look around and he does have food and water in here.
Oh, fine. Then I'll dish some out to this guy and says, what brings you to this shithole?
And I will explain events. I will hold nothing back. I'm wearing, I'm wearing a Weyland-Yutani environment suit. But I think the med kit and the beacon detector, and indeed the heavy clothing, came from the UPP crash site. So I'm a mystery here, in as much as I clearly got some UPP equipment, but I'm badged as Weyland-Yutani.
Right.
And I'm just trying to think how to play that. I think that I want to I think I will tell him that we came into orbit. I don't know what happened. I was still in hypersleep, and I woke up. We woke up. The pod was damaged, and I think I will explore the idea that Darius, and I gesture to the outside. Darius was kind of bitten by a tiny little version of that thing. Is that why it came after him and not after me?
Who knows? This planet's as weird as hell, mate. Weird as hell.
Well,
yeah, it sounds like you got off a lot worse than me.
Let's do this. Let's take our break. Let's take 10 minutes. If Paul, you can sit here with me for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna brief you a little bit of what Baldy knows and what his deal is, just to kind of fill in the gaps. I think that will help going forward. We take a few minutes to do that, and then you can share as much of that and play that as much as you want with the others. So let's take 10, and like I said, Paul, just hang out for a minute with you and I, and we'll sort out some things. Okay. All right. See you other guys in 10. So Paul, Baldy is he's probably, I don't know if I have his age. He's like 20, early 20s. Though he looks older because he's lived on this planet for his whole life, and the radiation has, aged him, prematurely, at least his skin. And your mother was a prospector and smuggler, and you've grown up amongst these smugglers on this planet your whole life. You gather the crystal in the caves, you load it up into your truck, you take it back to your spaceship, and then fly off to sell it on nearby stations, and then return and repeat that process, and you've been doing this for years. When you were little, your mother disappeared, and you were brought up by what you call your foster father, and he has died, recently. So you've been alone for quite a while. And you have a hut, your base, where you have your little shelter and a spaceship nearby, although your spaceship is broken down. And this hut of yours is at the base of this plateau. And at the top of the plateau, that there's this old research station that for all of your life has been abandoned. And your hut, you sort of inherited it from your mother. This is the hut your mother used, but the station is freaky and spooky, and you just don't go there. You stick to the other parts of the desert. But recently, a bunch of Weyland-Yutani researchers and a team of colonial Marines landed up in this plateau, and they approached you. And the woman, her name is Nakamura, the leader of this Weyland-Yutani research team, convinced you to go gather as much crystal as you could to supply them with crystal for their research. And they said that if you brought them a bunch of crystal, that they would give you the parts you need for your ship to get it back in working order. And you have been out in the desert now for a few weeks, and you're on your way back to your hut to deliver this supply of crystal that you jammed your truck full of. And there's one member of this research team that you've befriended. This is a guy named Billy Ryder. He's a middle-aged guy. He's into drugs. He's kind of spacey, but very knowledgeable. And he seems detached from the rest of the research team. He comes down from the plateau quite often to hang out with you. And he seems particularly friendly, almost fatherly towards you. And you've befriended him. But otherwise, you've stayed away. You haven't really gone up and he tells you that there's some freaky stuff going on up there on the plateau, and not to go up there. It's dangerous. It's bad news. Any questions about any of all this?
No, that all seems, reasonably. I can easily, share some of that with the others. So no problem there.
Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a break then. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. If you have any further questions, feel free to jump in. I'll try to get you up to speed with this new character.
Will
Okay.
do.
And carry over your story points from Darius onto this
Yeah.
guy. Okay.
Okay, no problem at all. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. Can you see and hear me all right, Alan?
Yes, I can.
StreamYard kicked me out for a minute, but I'm
Oh.
back. Yeah.
Has it made any difference now that they've been bought out by some large company? Are you getting a different kind of service, or?
I haven't noticed anything. It's still pretty early in that process, I'm sure. I only run a game every 2 or 3 months, so I don't really check in that often to use it. How's everybody doing? I'm a little shaky still from killing Darius.
I'm shocked at the loss.
It is a big one, isn't it? That's what this game's about, right?
It is. It's all become very real.
You guys got spoiled because I didn't kill any of you last time. And,
I thought we just got lucky, to be honest.
yeah. Well, yeah.
We got very lucky last time. I would have been killed if I wasn't a synth. I think.
When you roll those, they're called signature attacks for the creatures. When you roll that dice, the D6, the lower numbers are not so bad, but when you get those sixes, like Paul did, that's usually the one-shot kill type thing. So that's how that happened. Okay. So Paul, I caught Paul up on some stuff. There's a few other things I thought about after we went away. Paul, there's a few other things that you know that you can, or I'll assume you share at least to some extent with Bryant. So the day-night cycle of this planet. So this planet is bombarded by high amounts of radiation during the day. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything during the day, even in your truck. So you have this ceramic cover to block the radiation from piercing through the metal and killing you. And you just have to stay stationary during the day. And if you were to go outside within a few minutes, you would be, maybe 30 minutes if you're lucky, you'd be irradiated and killed. So that's that. During the night, the radiation's not so bad and you're able to move about. The other thing is the creatures. You know from living here your whole life quite a bit about them. You do your best not to run into them, of course, but you know their life cycle to some extent and kind of how they work. You and the other smugglers all kind of trade hints and details about what you've learned. So you call them the Sand Beast, and they have the very young ones that you call the children, and they mark biomasses. They spray that blue material into a biomass, and it seems to draw the grandpas, and they come along and they absorb whatever's been marked. They seem to have the ability to track this radioactive material and are drawn by the little ones to the big biomasses that they absorb. Their regular thing to eat is these clouds that hang, and as the sun is rising, these clouds have risen up into the upper atmosphere. And these clouds are actually this planty, spongy biomass that absorbs gases and allows them to be buoyant and to, they rise up into the upper atmosphere into a layer that makes them immune to the radiation during the day, and then they descend during the night to absorb sun rays and any bacteria, whatever that's flying through the air. And they're sort of the base of this ecosystem. But they commonly will die or lose their structure or whatever. They'll fall to the ground and they'll be marked similar to the one that was marked on your ship. And they'll be marked and then absorbed by these Sand Beast. There's also you're not quite sure how they all interact, but there's also a middle stage of these Sand Beasts that you call a cave beast. And these are little creatures about the size of a small, medium-sized dog that roam around in the caves. And they look different. They're actually the same creature, but they grow these exoskeleton like a arthropod, and they live in the caves, and they're fairly aggressive if you get up close to them, but most of you guys learn to kind of keep your distance from them, and if they come too close, to kind of prod them away. They don't usually hurt people, but they could if you're not careful. So you know all of that about these. And the sun is rising, and the two of you are in this truck now, and you're going to be in this truck for a while. So you guys can have any scenes that you want. Let me lay out some mechanical stuff for you as time, some time is going to pass. So Bryant, you can relieve all your stress. You're safe here. You can take your stress to 0. If you've taken any damage, you can recover, that damage. I don't think you did though. And you're
I'm currently on 3 health, which I think is where I'm supposed to be.
Equal to your strength. Yep, I think you're good. And then you can take away the dehydration also. Let me double check. I think there might have been one other thing. No, I think that's it. So I'll leave it to you guys. Do you have any scenes or conversations you wanted to have during this long day?
I think I do, and it is this kind of sense of, I've given him some. I've forgotten his name. Paul, can you change your tag?
Yes.
Then I'll remember what you're called.
Usually goes by Baldy. His last name is Baldwin, so Baldy.
Okay. So so I will have shared with Baldy some of the history I had with Darius. And I'd probably have broken down, I think, if it wasn't for the intoxication. But I am interested in I was only here because of Darius. I just want to get off this rock now. I mean, how do I get off this rock? Is there some kind of landing?
Yeah. Getting off this rock's easy. I've got a ship.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously, I've got a ship.
Well, what do I have to do to get off this fucking rock then?
You got to help me fix the ship. It doesn't work currently. It's just a little bit broken down. But I got it all sorted. I just need to deliver some crystal to these Weyland-Yutani boys, and all will be good.
Well, that I'm wearing this badge. I'm not with the company.
Yeah, I'm not with the company either. I'm just a locally hired civilian doing some work for him.
And I think Bryant is kind of running through. He has negligible heavy machinery, starship fixing skills. So he's quickly trying to remember all those compulsory units in the online course that he had to do to get his officer license. But he will say, "Yeah, I can help."
Excellent, man. As soon as it's fixed, I'll give you a lift off this hunk of junk.
And I'm just then curious, I think, whether Baldy shares anything of his history. Are you from?
I'm a native of this place. I've lived here my entire life. I've got a little hut. As soon as the sun goes down, I'll drive you there.
So, so there's a colony here, or what? Is
No, not really. It's pretty inhospitable.
I'm not sure what, if anything, we knew about Herbert 4 before we arrived here, but I was expecting it just to be an empty ball of, just a deserted planet.
There's a few of us here, but not a civilization.
Okay.
Let me jump in real quick to kind of put everybody on the same page. So you were to go here, and it was just to be a simple thing. You're to go here, meet with Weyland-Yutani. They have some sort of research camp here where they were, going through Kara's old research. You were going to go there. You were going to break the cipher on these codes that was keeping them from making any further progress. Help them get what they needed to control a queen, get that to off planet to where it needs to be so that you can save these Agra worlds. So you were going to, it was going to be a simple in and out kind of deal. That was the plan.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I'll come with you. I'll help you with the delivery if it's the least I can do.
I've just got to run this crystal that I've got in this truck up to the Weyland-Yutani boys, and that's it. Done.
I'm in.
Superb. Well, let's chill out the day.
The risk is though that Bryant is just looking around for somebody else to follow.
Okay, so let's leave you guys there. We'll come back to you if you have any other scenes. We'll get those ready for when we come back. But let's go back to Noah. Noah, I'm going to move you forward a few moments later from where we left off. And you have gone into the nearby Leader's Cave. Let me throw the map at you real quick to acclimate. So you are moving into this cave here, the Leader's Cave. And it's a large cave. There's another one of these spring-fed pools at the back of it that's throwing up these shadows throughout this cave. There's these electric lights. There's just one cot here that's sort of set up near the pool, maybe like a little camp bed. But there's a lot of boxes around here, a lot of like storage boxes, a lot of equipment, apparently has been brought into this cave and stacked up, especially near the spot called Overlook. So there's sort of like an open window that looks through into a cave. You can't really see down there, but there's presumably some other little cave back that way you could kind of look down into, looking through this window, this overlook. And a lot of those boxes are all over there. And there are two people. Fatih leads you in, and there are two people here that are sort of, they're not yelling, but they're clearly like arguing. There's a man and a woman. The man looks like this, and he is saying something like, look, I just want to get out of here. You promised me, I just want to get paid and get the hell off this rock. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of these creatures. I don't want to interface with them anymore. I'm done. Let's just get out of here. And the woman is turned away from you and talking to him, but the voice is familiar. And she says, fine, we'll get out of here as soon as we can. And Fatih, kind of says, here he is. And she turns, and the woman she turns around, and you recognize Sitka Ramos. And the friendly, youthful figure you're familiar with, your friend Sitka Ramos. And by the way, Jamie gave his permission to use their character however I wanted. So here we go.
I was really hoping that this would happen in some way, shape, or form,
And like we said, I think to remind you guys, last time we talked about the Sitka, she had been with you guys for a little while, but then she faded away into some sort of Xeno cult, one of the many that are populating the universe these days.
And
so
I was looking for her before we went on this mission and had no success. Yeah,
that's right. So she turns and she has a big smile, and she comes right up to you and she goes to embrace you, Noah.
I hug her back, but it's like a very quick squeeze and then a sort of like push out to the shoulders, Sitka, I looked for you, but I couldn't find you.
Yeah, I've been. It's been a tough couple of years, Noah.
Have you seen the others? You seen Darius?
No.
You seen Bryant?
Aren't they with you? Did they come here with you?
Well, we were separated when they shot down the Providence.
Yeah, Fatih said you were in an escape pod. The Providence is gone then, eh?
What? Don't you know about the missile banks?
She looks really sad and concerned when you say that. She says, yeah, I was hoping maybe you'd say something else. But look, Fatih said you were a little evasive, but I mean, old friends, let's be honest with each other. Did you see my sisters? They took off in a bunch of transport ships. Did you see the ships up in orbit?
I didn't see any ships up in orbit. Nothing but a UPP cruiser that got blown to shit as well.
So they got away then?
No, that's not what I'm saying, Sitka. I'm sorry.
She has a look of recognition and acceptance, and she
You
kind of
must have
sits.
you knew about the missiles, though.
Yeah, but they were supposed to be off. And the man says, it must have been that bitch Nakamura. She must have got him back online somehow.
Whose
Yeah.
missiles are they?
And Sitka, she sits down. She's crying. She's sitting down. She's crying. And Fatih says, it's Weyland Yutani, the Marines. They had some orbital missile batteries. I thought we destroyed the controls, though. They should have been down. We got to go back and kill that bitch. And the man says, yeah. But I'm not going back there. Fuck that. You're not paying me enough to go back there.
Sitka. What? This was supposed to be some Weyland Yutani project to stop these things, you know? And this thing that Fatty has got, like, it works. I mean, what's your plan here? What are you trying to do?
Go ahead and make a manipulation roll. You guys have a good history together. I'll give you 2 extra dice, so with plus 2 dice. Okay. She's still crying, but she's, the tears are running down her cheeks, but she's in a hesitant voice. She says, Noah, I know you won't judge me because, you're better than that. But I know from afar it might seem like it might not seem like the right thing to do, but you have to understand that we can feel that this is the right thing. My sisters and I, we all want to be together. We want to be together forever. And we know the way to do it is to be with the creatures. But we also, Weyland Yutani has to be stopped. Nobody else should have to suffer the way we have, to live through all the pain and the loss that we've had because of that company. So we're here to stop them and to be together with our loved ones and with each other forever.
And where were your sisters going?
She goes, those ships were gonna fly to Weyland Yutani's headquarters, Weyland's private residence, research stations, Weyland Yutani research stations throughout space, to deliver the xenomorphs to their doorstep, to finally end them forever.
And who's this guy?
And the guy says, he puts his hands in the air, he goes, let's just get out of here. And Fatih's like, look, you want money? Go over there in that box over there. We'll pay you triple your fee. And he gets a big smile and he turns and he goes over there. And you see Fatih put on her glasses, the VR glasses, as he turns and goes over there.
Wait, what are you doing?
To which person?
To Fatia, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like you're standing there sort of near the entrance with Sitka. I imagine you've kind of like maybe not sat down, but like crouched down to be close to Sitka, to have your kind of back and forth. And then
Yeah.
Fati's standing there beside you, and this guy has sort of walked off towards, and she says, like, Nedry, you know, your money's over there. And he's walking over that way, and she's putting on, and you're saying, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And Fati, she says, we don't need him anymore, you know, kind of under her breath, you know, so you and Sitka can hear, but not Nedry. He's over there, and he starts to open up one of these boxes, and this long black arm comes down and grabs him, pulls him up into the tunnel above him. There's a scream, and a shower of blood comes down from this hole in the ceiling. And Sitka looks up and she says, was that really necessary, Fati? She goes, he would have turned us in. He was going to turn against us. First chance he got. We can only trust each other.
A lot of those things around then, huh, Sitka?
Sitka says, yeah, we have two of them. They have these implants. They can't hurt us, and you can control them if you have these glasses. Fati,
So
you
they
figured out how to use them? She goes, yeah, I think I've got it figured out.
You got all this from Wayland Yutani.
Yeah.
And I guess when you say they can't hurt us, you mean unless you tell them to.
Right. We can control them, turn them against the company. And Sitka says, look, Fati, you've got to go back. You've got to go back to the research station, and you got to get those batteries off so we can leave. We can make the sacrifice, and we can leave. Finally finish Wayland.
This guy had a ship, right?
Which guy that?
The one whose blood is all over my face.
She says, we have some ships. We've got a couple more transports, and we've got a heavy lifter up at the top of the mesa. No, the only way off this planet is to get back to the research station and to turn off the missile batteries. Fati, will you go there when night falls? Take the creatures with you. Do what you need to do to get those batteries off. Noah, will you help us? Will you go with her?
Yes, Sitka, I'll go with her. Listen, the kid back there, she ain't well. I promised her I'd get her off here.
She has she doesn't say anything. You can tell she's troubled, and she hears you, but she doesn't say anything when you say that. She goes, she's one of us. She's a sister, the same as the rest, same as Fati and I. In fact, we're the only sisters left.
Does she? I don't think she wants to be here, Sitka.
How do you know that? She never told us that.
Call it a doctor's opinion. She doesn't look well. She looks scared, Sitka.
I mean, we're all scared, but it's for the best.
Listen, we're going to go up to against this Marines there. There's Wayland Yutani. I couldn't grab anything from well, there's got to be someone left there, huh? And who knows how many of those UPP goons made it down. First place they'll go to is there. You got any weaponry?
Yeah. So she says, somebody, yeah, you're right. Somebody must have repaired the missile battery controls. Nedry is probably right. It's probably Nakamura. She's the head scientist, but the creatures, they took care of the Marines. They took care of the other researchers. We've already been there. That's how we got the creatures, and Nedry helped us with that. But yeah, make a. Let's see.
I mean, very specifically, I'm looking for like a firearm of some kind, right?
Right.
And any, like whatever combat gear I would be able to get hold of.
Sure. Let me take a look at their character sheet, see if they have anything extra they can give you. Yeah. So I think Sika, she unbuckles her holster and she's going to give you her pistol. She goes,
Okay.
"Yeah, here you go." But Fatih, you can show Noah the creatures. If you run into trouble, let them loose. Let them take care of any trouble, right?
Yeah. So who's going on this mission?
It's going to be you and Fatih, and I'll stay here and continue, prepare to get, for once you get everything finished, I'll get the ships prepped and ready to take off. But take one of the transports. You and Fatih and the creatures go there, get the missile batteries, back down, and report in.
Yeah.
But you'll have to wait. The sun's rising now, and we'll have to wait till nighttime. So, Noah, it's going to be a big day. Fatih and I are going to need to rest. I mean, make yourself at home. I would stay around, our camp area. The creatures are no danger, but it's probably safest to stay around here. But, Mikasa, Sukasa, right?
Yeah. And he smiles like a big, genuine, warm smile. Like, it's so good to see old friends.
Let's cut from there. We can certainly come back and you can have a little more conversation before they lay down to rest, when we come back. But let's leave that there for now. Let's check back in with Bryant and Baldy. So day is passing. We'll pick up with you. The truck's starting to move. But, before that happens, is there anything you want to say or do in the interim? There's a good 12-hour period there.
To be honest, I think apart from, I want to make some judgment about how much I can trust Baldy, I suppose. It's mostly small talk, but to what extent do I think that I'm getting the whole story from this guy? Or does he have an agenda?
Well, there's not really a die roll to do that in this game. So it's really, you have to use your best judgment. You want to test them out through conversation a little more, or you just go by what you've seen already?
I think that I will try to work out. I want to know how easy he is to manipulate. There you go.
Okay.
I want him to believe that I am absolutely essential to fixing his ship. Yeah.
Okay. So we hear you spitting out some technical stuff.
all that stuff I was trying to remember from the online course. I'm just letting it go. And I guess at the same time, trying to work out what his expertise is. Is he pilot? Is he mechanical? Where can I get away with telling him some porky pie lies? So let's try manipulation.
Okay. I think this is going to be an opposed roll. So you're trying to convince Baldy that you are a expert mechanic, it sounds like, or that you
and he's not going to get off the planet.
He's describing to you what's wrong with the ship, and you're trying to bullshit him into believing that I know how to fix that.
Yeah.
It's tricky,
check
but
the
I can do it.
manifold.
Yeah. Okay. I think Baldy actually does have a little bit of heavy machinery. So actually and Bryant doesn't. So I think Baldy, you do know a little bit about fixing the ship. So you might be able to call out his bullshit. So Bryant, I'm going to have you roll manipulation, but you're going to roll at -1. And Baldy, you're going to roll manipulation without any modifier at all.
And I come up entirely dry. So I will add a stress and push it. Yeah. So, and I can't remember how to do that. Roll again.
Add a stress and then roll the exact same thing, the same modifier, -1.
and I get 1 success.
Okay. So
And I'm going to spend a story point
to make it
to make that 2.
Right. So the way this works is that Baldy's successes subtract from your successes. So if you don't get at least 1 success, then you don't succeed. But spending the story point pushes you over to 2 successes minus his 1. So you do succeed. So Baldy, you believe that Bryant is a talented mechanic that might actually know what to do. That the thing that was stopping you from doing this. You do know that there is certainly a MacGuffin. There's a key part that is missing that that Weyland-Yutani promised to give you, in exchange for this load of crystal. And you see, Bryant, that being in this truck for a while, there's bags and bags, and maybe one of them's open, and you can see they're full of these little crystals. The crystals, I don't know, has Bryant seen those yet? I don't think so. So there's these little crystals, and every once in a while, Baldy, you crush one up and you put it into your teapot, and it continues this steam throughout this truck, throughout the day. So if there's nothing else, I think we'll pick up with you guys driving across the desert for another hour or 2, and you pull up, you approach this this plateau. You're at the ground level, but there's this high plateau, wide, pretty good sized plateau, a rock face, a fairly steep rock face. And at the base of it, as your truck comes along towards this hut that's at the base of this, this plateau. And this hut it's pretty simple. It has a ceramic covering on the outside of it, which you kind of figured out by now probably what that's about. Kind of looks like this. And parked near it on a flat area, there's like solar panels nearby, and there's like a well, like a well machinery, like some sort of mechanical well that pulls up water. But anyways, and then there's also like a landing pad, a simple landing pad where there's this fairly simple, hyperspace capable small transport ship that looks like this, parked nearby. And then there's sort of like a winding path that goes from this ground level up this rock face, presumably to the plateau above. That's sort of near to this hut. And as you guys pull up, a man comes out, and it's dark again, but again, the darkness, there's still this red hue to the sky. It's dim because of this huge star. But a man comes out of the hut and approaches you guys, and it's this man. And Baldy stops the truck, and he opens the door and he jumps down, and he sort of slaps hands with this man. Or I guess, I'm sorry, I took over. I forgot he's not an NPC anymore. Sorry. But Paul, you know that this is your friend, the adjunct sort of to the Weyland-Yutani team, Billy Ryder. You're muted. Paul, you're muted.
Yeah, I'll introduce Billy Ryder to Brian, and saying he's the guy in the Weyland-Yutani team. It's the sort of go-between between me and them. He's going to get us the part, and I'm going to give him these crystals.
And Billy's like, well, things are complicated. Where to start? And he's got like a joint, and he takes a big hit off of it, and he passes it to you, Baldy, and he says, well, look, a lot of bad things happen, bad things. Couple days ago, or I guess maybe it was yesterday, a bunch of ships came down. I was down here, and I saw these ships coming down to land above, and I started up, and there was a bunch of women. They left these ships, and all the monsters were let loose, and there was a fight, and I got out of there, but I think the monsters won, and then the ships left. And honestly, I don't want to go up there. So yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, but more specifically, where's the part for the ship?
Oh, I guess it would be up there. I guess the Marines said it probably would have been on, I don't know if they put it in the base or if they had it on their drop ship. I'm not sure.
Well, that's scuppered that plan then, isn't it? So no crystal for you Wayland Yutari boys then?
I think that's probably the least of their worries at this point.
But the part is still there. We can't get off the rock without the part.
No, can't get anywhere without that part.
Look, you don't want to go up there. It's bad. Those monsters, they could be running around up there still. You don't want to go up there, man.
I want to manipulate.
Much of a choice.
Yeah, I want to
just smoke crystal.
I want to manipulate. What's his name? Billy
Ryder.
Billy Ryder. I want to manipulate Billy Ryder to convince him, because he's been up there, hasn't he? He knows his way around up there. I'd prefer to have two people who know the locale along rather than just one. So I'm going to try and manipulate him.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right. Show me a little bit how you try to convince him. You're trying to convince him to go up there?
Yeah, to come with us.
Okay. Yeah, let's hear a little of that. Yeah, let's hear a little of that, and then we'll roll some dice.
So look, I can understand. Look, I've seen something of these things, but you know they're not going to stay up there, Billy, don't you? You know that the way these things operate is that, you know, once they've taken out the Marines, they're going to come looking for us. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be just sat on my ass when that happens. I want to be able to get off this rock. So, you know, you can sit here and wait for them to come to you, or maybe you should come with us now, because at least if there's some of the Weyland-Yutani left up there, then these things will be distracted. Whereas once it's all over up there, they're going to have nothing to do but come looking for us.
Okay, I like it. Let's roll them dice. So I think you make a good argument. We'll give you an extra die for that. And Baldy, do you take part in this conversation one way or the other?
Well, I need the part, you know, and he does know what's going on up there. So yeah, I think it's a good idea that he accompanies us to get the part. But he's not going to get the crystal. Okay.
And let me make clear too, like I said, you get the feel like Baldy's Ryder's never really laid it out exactly how he's involved with Weyland-Yutani, but he clearly isn't very corporate from his appearance and behavior. And it sounds like he's sort of, you get the sense that he was kind of strong-armed into coming with them, that he himself was manipulated in some way to come here. It's sort of an uncomfortable relationship he has with the company himself. So he's certainly not on the payrolls necessarily of the company. Okay,
and I have to say, I am quite curious what he makes of the fact that I'm called Bryant.
Oh, that's true. They actually remind me of that. He does. He looks to you. Well, let's do the die roll and then we'll put it all together. Okay. Did you roll yet? Okay. I think you probably put in the plus. So
I think I probably put in the plus.
Do it again, but
I'll just put one in.
Put one. Yeah.
Get in.
All right, you got it. You beat him. He got 2, but you got 3. So he looks at you, Bryant.
I'll take the glasses off.
Right. And he has a look of recognition. He goes, What's your name? You remind me of somebody.
Bryant.
And he has like a shocked look. He grabs the joint back from you, Baldy, and he takes another big hit. And he goes,
Do we know one another? Have we met?
Well, I knew your sister.
Kara.
Yeah.
How do you know Kara?
Well, we go way back. It's a long story. And he says, well, did you know she was here on this planet 12 years ago?
Here.
And you did know that because of what Wayland Natalia told you, that
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
she had done some sort of research here. So you didn't know that prior to that, but they.
No, that's right. And I'll say something. I will still say, no. I was in the service at the time.
Yeah, we were here 12 years ago, doing some research. You know, things went kind of bad, and you know, we both agreed to never come back here. But here we are.
And I am gonna. I want to know what happened.
Sure.
What I don't know is how much Baldy knows about what happened to his mother. Out of character.
Yeah, and this is news to you, Baldy, that Ryder had been here prior, and that he, I'm going to make it even juicier. I'm going to say you knew that your mother was involved with this woman named Kara when she disappeared. So you hearing this name Kara that is linked to Billy, this is a bit of a shock to you too.
Who would have thought it? Such a small universe.
I want to find out what happened, or at least what. So tell me about it. I mean, my sister never mentioned it. She's dead.
Yeah, I heard she died. Sorry about that. He goes, look, you're right. If no one's safe. We got to get this ship off this planet. Let's no time like the present. Let's get some, let me get my bag and let's start walking up. And he kind of like pulls you aside a little bit, Brian. He goes, you and I can talk, but let's leave the kid out of it.
Yeah, I go with that.
Okay. Let's pause there with you guys. We'll pick up with you making your way up, this rocky path leading up to the top of the plateau to presumably where the research base is. And Noah, let's come back to you. Like I said, the two women, the three women, I guess, they're going to be, looking to rest during the day. But certainly there's plenty of opportunity for you to talk with them, to snoop around, whatever you want to do.
I ask Sitka if I can, speak, like I'm going to go and check on the waif, and I sort of like shrug and say, they train me to be a doctor. I got to look out. You know how it is. You slip into old habits. And double entendre to her, knowing that I'm programmed, right? Although I assume that Fatia probably knows this by now as well. I'd still keeping up pretense.
Yeah, Sitka she probably acts a little different towards you. It's clear that Sitka has told her.
Yeah, I register that, but I'm still keeping up the pretense.
She says, look, that's fine, but I don't want you to upset her. She
seems pretty upset already, Sitka.
Yeah, I know, but it's just makes things worse if you try to bring her out of wherever she's at. Go ahead, check her out, but please don't rattle her. This is hard enough on all of us already.
And all I do when I go to the waif is I sit with her and I just lean close and I say very softly to her, "Do you want to leave?"
Make another manipulation roll. I'll give you a +1 on this, since you already kind of brought her partially out of her fugue. Okay.
Cool.
Again, she looks at you with these doe eyes, and Fati is kind of hanging out nearby. She's out of earshot, but you can tell she's doing something. Maybe she's like cleaning her gun or something, but you can tell she's keeping one eye on you as you speak to her.
Then when
But
you want to leave,
yeah.
it could even be something as simple as draw one line for yes, 2 lines for no, kind of thing.
Okay. Sure. And she draws. I just forgot what you just said, but one line will say is yes, emphatically.
I'll come back for you. And then otherwise, I guess I'm just what kind of gun does Fatia have?
She has a pistol, a handgun.
She has another pistol. And is that just a normal pistol from the Alien book that I have as well? Yeah, cool.
Same
I'll
as you,
add that in. Yeah. And I say, that's an incredible piece of technology that you've got there. You the only one who can use it, or is Sitka?
She says, it takes a little time. You got to practice a little bit, but I think any human could use it.
Yeah. Wow. Do they have how many of them they made?
Well, Nedry and I had one. Sitka's got his now. Those are the two. Those are the only two. Only two we found at the base.
Well, we're going to need more than those, I think, if we're going to really make this work.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the transports. I'd say, just hang back. We'll let the creatures, as long as they're within 100 meters or so of me, I'll be able to control them. Let's let them find whoever it was that jury-rigged the missile controls, and we'll let the creatures take care of them, and then we'll get out of there, in and out.
Well, that sounds pretty good. I mean, it's rare that a plan goes without hitches, but that sounds good to me. Well, I'll let you rest up. I'll keep an eye out.
Okay.
And I kind of I make it very clear that I'm just sort of wandering at night. I'm not just sat. I move around so that they know that I'm moving and stuff while they're resting and everything. And I'm just sort of I am staying close to the camp, but I'm just looking at that overlook and those boxes and
Okay.
And yeah, what do I see?
So
I suppose.
let's I think they're comfortable with you moving around. So let's say an hour or two has passed, and everybody's kind of the waif is silently painting, adding embellishment to her masterpiece of the Queen, and Fati is laid down on one of the cots in the living area, and Sitka is sleeping on her cot in the leader's cave. Let me get back to this map. And you kind of wander up there. You kind of skirt around the pool of blood where Nedry was drawn up above, and you look down, through this window, and you see. I think did you have a flashlight? I think you did.
I do, yeah.
So you pull out your flashlight and you shine it down, and it's about maybe about 3 meters of a descent, a lip that goes down 3 meters, and there's a cave down below. So you're kind of looking over it, and you flash your flashlight around. And you see this cave, there's large boxes that block it off here.
Mm-hmm.
like a barricade of boxes that block it off from floor to ceiling.
Mhm.
And in the cave are lots of other smaller boxes, about 1 meter cube or so. And most of them are open. And you see that there are eggs, xenomorph eggs, in all of these boxes. There's dozens of them. And many of the eggs are open. Some are still closed. Many of them are open. And you can see that there are several dozen like yoga mats spread out in this room. You know what that is? And they're off to the side. You flash your light around and you see there's a pile, like a mound, like someone's piled up a bunch of these dead face huggers, several dozen dead face huggers.
Yeah.
Let's take our break there. That's a good scene to take a break to. Is 5 minutes okay? We'll come back. All right, let's take 5 and we'll pick up there with Noah.
I love how you brought Sitka back.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Originally, she was going to be there, with you in your escape pod.
Mm.
But then when Jamie couldn't play, I was like, well, I still want Sitka in it. And then I
I
blossomed
have to
into
say,
having her.
I very nearly just murdered her immediately. And I was like, it wouldn't be that. It would be a different story then. And I think I want to find out more before I just start killing everybody.
Sure.
And the dread when I saw Ritual Chamber, and I was like, there's no way this is going to go well.
Right. Yeah, I made sure that you would see that on the map. I didn't try to hide it. Let it have its impact.
Yeah.
The map I'm showing you guys now is just sort of an overview map. It's not important, but just to kind of help to visualize. None of you really know how you are in relation to the other, but that's kind of where all these different spots that we've talked about are in this desert.
I just wanted to clarify in the caves where I am, there are 2 transports and a heavy lifter, right?
Right.
Are any of those spacefaring vessels?
Absolutely. I think maybe you had a small conversation with Fatih or Sitka about.
Well, I mean,
ships.
I would even say, as part, I would offer at some point, perhaps as part of this conversation, I would offer to take a look at them, overnight, make sure that they're ready for the morning and stuff like that. Because me, I'm good with electronics as well.
Okay, so yeah, maybe you wander up that way. Let me. Hold on a minute. Let me think for a second. So first of all, they have 2 transport ships that look like they're of the same model as you saw, like a dozen of these that had been all destroyed by missiles up in orbit. So they're of that same design. There's 2 of them that look like. Where is that? Look like this. And then they have 1 larger ship, and they're all, hyperspace capable, faster than light. And this is what they call a heavy lifter. And it has like a large, storage bin, space capable storage bin type thing that it's slung underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And it has that fitted. And they're sitting up at the top of this mesa. So you would rise up through another chaotic, massive caves up, and these 2 have X's on the walls that someone has put, to show you the way to rise up through these caves up to the mesa at the top. Let's assume that you have made your way up there, because I wanted to come back to that moment where we left off. But we will assume that yes, indeed, sometime in the last few hours, you had made your way up there. It's a good little walk. You walked up through there. You came back. It's probably about an hour, hour round trip, and gone up there and checked on these ships. I think Sitka would just say, absolutely. Start the pre-flight. Checks. Get one of the transports ready if you would. Here's the code for opening the door. But Noah, stay out of the cargo bays, okay? Just get the ships ready, but don't go to the cargo bays. It's for the best. And don't leave the heavy lifter alone too. Just get one of the transports ready. That's all you guys will need come nightfall. Oh, and
so
Noah,
we're taking the transport to the Weyland-Yutani base.
Right, you're going to take one of them, to the Weyland-Yutani base. She does say though, but you can do this, but you might want to wait till nightfall because the radiation, just running from the cave mouth to the ship, you might get some radiation. It's up to you if you want to do it or not.
Yeah, I think I wait. I go up there, I wait for night. I watch the night fall across the thing, and then I run across, check it all out, and then go back down. We'll come back to that moment. I just wanted to really clarify, whether transports were the APCs or the ships.
No, they're like ships. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm just trying to put this all in time. Then.
Well, this is the night, I guess, that they were overstaying on. Well, they were waiting for the sun. This is the day that they were waiting for the sun to come up, and now.
Yeah, they were waiting for the sun to go down. So, where we left off, talking with Sitka and the alien killing the guy, Nedry, that it was daytime.
Oh
and
yeah.
they're resting through the day. And an hour or two has passed, and you had gone in and seen this ritual cave.
Mhm.
Let's say you're planning to go up there, but you haven't yet. Or maybe you're planning to do it, just as night falls, because
Yeah. This is
you've
what I'm
got
doing while I wait for
another-
night to fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you know the way
I'm
up there, but
getting
let's say you
confused, sorry,
have,
because
let's say you have not gone up there yet. Okay.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think it works better that way. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I just kept getting night and sleep reversed.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so I see the thing. I don't do anything, by the way, when I see this. It's just registered, and then I back away.
Okay.
You know.
And you back away and you bump into Fati, who is kind of glided up behind you.
Mhm.
And she sighs. She has a deep sigh. And she goes and she sits down where Sitka is sleeping, and she kind of nudges her. And Sitka, she goes, is it nighttime yet? And Fati's like, no, but I think it is time. And Sitka gets a look on her face, and they start to kind of talk amongst themselves, but they look at you and they talk quietly amongst themselves.
I mean, I just go straight up to Sitka. And I say, I guess that's where the xenomorphs came from then.
Yep. All of us, part of being a sister is to understand that giving ourselves to the creatures is how we will be together forever. This is how we do it. And they all willingly gave themselves and were loaded up on those transports, and Weyland-Yutani has killed all of them. None of them will be together with us the way they intended because of them.
Well, maybe tomorrow we can bring it all to an end, Sitka.
She goes, we've got one other thing to do first. This is really a ritual, just for us sisters, I'm afraid, though. If you give us some space, Noah. And Fati says, and Sitka says, she turns to Fati and says, let's talk for a minute, but then you go get her, okay, Fati?
Sure, I'll leave you to it.
Okay.
And I go immediately to go find the wife.
Okay. Maybe she's sleeping. She's on her little cot and she's sleeping.
I wake her up.
Okay. She looks at you with those doe eyes.
And I say, you know where the ship is?
I can feel her. I can feel her up there.
Okay, but I need you to go up there and get on one of the transports, right? It's going to be okay.
She's real hesitant and trembling. Sounds like you want her to go on her own.
I wanted to go ahead, basically, while I run a delaying tactic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think to get her to actually start taking those steps to go up into the dark, grab a flashlight and go up into the dark, you're going to need to make a manipulation roll.
Okay. Does my calming presence provide me any...
Not in this one.
Damn.
This is over the top.
No, damn it. That's my first failure. No, she won't do it then. Okay.
She grabs your arm, and she's trembling in fear. She's got a death grip on your arm.
And I say, okay. Just be ready. All right?
She shakes her head.
Yeah. And I'm going to go... I'm going to linger. Can we look back at the cave map again? Sorry, I just want to find a good place to maybe do something terrible. the leader's cave, the way. This is like this corridor here with like a in between, right?
Yeah.
I would like to. Well, Sitka and thingy down there, right?
Sitka, you left Sitka and Fatih back in the leader's cave talking,
Mhm.
and they were saying something about, in a few moments, presumably in a few moments, they'll be coming out
Yeah.
to do something.
Yeah. Screw it. I just walk in. I look. I see them both still talking, right? And then I'm just going to walk straight up behind Fatia and shoot her in the back of the head.
Okay. Did you leave the waif back in her cave, or do you have her with you?
I think that she sort of came up to that junction, and I just held up a hand, and then I
Had her stay
walked.
there?
Yeah, just so that she's like out of the sort of line of sight and everything, right? And I just walked up and went. Poof.
Okay. Trying to think if there's a roll that should happen here.
I mean, there's the coup de grace type thing, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't think that applies to an android, though. Like, I don't think you have any qualms about killing people. I mean, you don't take stress anyway, so.
And I'm very definitely like, this is the sort of like change in demeanor from, just kind of like absolutely friendly to just like, this is it,
Right.
And my
what
goal
we'll
is
do-
her first.
I think what we'll do, let's see if you can act nonchalant as you approach, or whether Sitka picks up a vibe that there's menace. So I think what we're going to do have opposed manipulation checks between you and Sitka.
Okay.
Fatih's not really looking. Sitka manipulation. Submit. So Sitka got 2. And you got
And I got
nothing.
0.
Right.
And I'm spending a story point. Would that overcome it?
No, you'd have to get 3 successes to beat her 2.
Oh, it's just 1 success.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
You're trying to beat her. So she sees you approaching. I'm going to say you do indeed shoot Fatih.
Okay.
And we'll just say she's dead. You shoot
Well,
Fatih.
maybe it's like Sitka, like as I come up, like jumps back, right, and Fatia turns, and I just like bang, but Sitka's moving, right, like ready. Yeah. Cool.
But then I'm going to say Sitka grabs the pulse rifle that's sitting there, and she takes, she puts the crosshairs on you.
I grab Raki's body.
You're gonna fight Sitka now.
Well, no. I mean, is she within hand-to-hand combat range? Like, if I lunged at her, would I grab her?
I'm gonna say she backed off a little bit. She's not.
Well,
then she's a couple meters away from you.
What I'm saying is that I shoot the woman, right, and as Sitka grabs that rifle, I'm grabbing that body and holding it in front of me, and I'm backing off now with the gun. Like,
okay. Unless you were going to try to talk your way out of this, which would be hard, I think we're going to move into combat. Then.
Yes, no, totally. Yeah, I agree. Because I'm going to shoot Sitka as soon as I have the chance to. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think because Sitka got that success on spotting you, I'm going to give her first shot here. So she's going to go ahead and open fire with the pulse rifle.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going to do is we're going to have Fatih's body give you some armor if you should get hit. So let's see, short range. There's dim light in here, so we'll give her a -1 for that. She is going to go ahead and shoot full auto. Seeing you kill her sister is going to give her a point of stress for sure. Let's just go with that. Okay, so pulse rifle, attack, -1, but she's shooting plus 1 overall.
And it's a pulse rifle.
Yeah. All right, she got 2 successes. She panics. So for NPCs, you really kind of hand wave how panic works. So first of all, let's take care of that. So she's going to go ahead and she's going to hit you to do 2 damage, and she's going to use her stunt to basically knock Fati's body out of your arms. So Fati's body's going to go flying. You got 2 damage coming at you. Let's say Fati's body gives you 3 armor. So roll 3 base dice to see if her body absorbs. Although she's wearing armor too, so make it 6. Go ahead and roll 3 more dice. We'll let those ride and then give you 3 more. So you absorb both those. Her body absorbs both those hits, so you don't take any damage. Fati's body, a bloody mess at this point, is knocked away from your hands. There you are standing, and you see Sitka. She's crying. She's very upset but cool still, and firing at you. She goes, "Why, Noah?"
You're sick, Sitka. I can't let you hurt anybody else.
Okay. Do you want to shoot at that point?
I think actually what I want to do is run forward and engage her in close combat.
Okay. You hitting her like with your pistol or just with your fist?
With the axe.
Oh, with the axe, right? Sure. Okay, yeah. So I will say an axe is a 2-handed weapon. So I'm going to say you drop the pistol, you run forward, pulling your axe out as you do, and you can go ahead and attack her. So you should be able to hit that attack button on the axe on your character sheet.
I sort of made up
modifier.
I sort of made up the axe as a weapon based upon the knife. I felt like it would be slightly better than a knife, but
I actually do have it on the list. I think you and I both agreed on the stats. It's a +1 bonus with 2 damage. Is that what you have?
Yeah, great minds think alike then,
There you
Jason.
go.
Yeah. No modifiers, right?
No modifier, yep. Close combat. Or you actually just click the attack button on the axe. It should do it. All right. So you got a close combat stunt. You're doing 2 damage with the axe, and then you can choose a stunt. One of those is to do extra damage. Or you can stun her, you can knock her back, you can knock her down, you can knock her weapon out of her hand. There's quite a few different things if you want to look at the mechanics.
I knock the pulse rifle out of her hand.
Okay, that sounds good. And you do 2 damage. Sitka does have some armor. She's got an environment suit on, similar to what Bryant is sporting. And she does not absorb it, so she takes 2 damage. Okay. She's still going though. And you knock the pulse rifle out of her hand. And she says, like, I thought you were different. I thought you would understand. And she pulls a knife out of a sheath and goes to stab you.
That's fine.
And knife. Okay. She gets 2 successes. I'm going to say, given her emotional state, and she already got some other panics, she is going to... Yeah, let's make it dramatic. She's going to stab at you, and she's going to start screaming. She's going to start screaming that you can't stop me from being with my family. You can't stop me from being with my sisters. None of you can stop me. So she's unraveling. She's getting out of control for sure. She's going to gain some more stress, but like I said, she's also going to do some damage. She's going to put that extra hit onto damage. So you're looking at 3 damage. I don't think you have any armor, do you?
No, I don't know. That's fine.
Okay, so you just take 3 damage.
Okay. And sorry, what's the fast action again?
You can always hold a fast action to
block the next one if I needed to.
Yeah.
That's a good point because I'd already used it last time. I hadn't had to charge her and then do it. Yeah. I hit back at her.
Okay, another axe swing. Okay, go ahead, and you're going to hold your fast action to potentially block.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
All right,
that's
so
a
you
sweet
just
fail.
Flat out miss.
Mm.
All right, she's
Um,
gonna go ahead
I spend a story point.
to get a hit. Okay,
hmm
so that's 2 damage. She'll roll her armor. She got nothing. She takes 2 more damage, and she's broken.
Yeah, I figured
Um,
humans and squishy.
Yep, squishiness. I will leave it to you, Noah. Should we roll on there's a D66 table for when people are broken to see what kind of critical hit they have? Or should we go with just narratively deciding kind of what kind of wound she suffered?
Hey, you know what? Why don't we see the mechanic in play? You know,
Okay,
like
let's do it. All right, so I'll let you roll this. So on your character sheet, there is under roll buttons, there's one called D66. Go ahead and hit that for me.
oh,
Tell me
66. Which I imagine is going to be a bad one for poor Sitka.
Yeah. That is impaled heart. Your heart beats for the last time. So she's screaming, and you just take a big big swing right into her heart, and blood pours out. Her eyes go gray, and Sitka falls to the ground dead.
Cool. I look for the circlet, and I break one of them and take the other if I can find it.
Okay.
And I grab the pulse rifle and book it with a thingy like up the corridor. You know.
So add a pulse rifle to your equipment list, and she has one of the VR glasses. It's different, just for future reference. This is different than the circlet. But yeah, you grab the VR glasses that she has. There are a little bit of bloods on them from Nedry, but you grab that. You grab the pulse rifle. You leave.
Well, I killed Fatir as well, right? Do I have her?
She has one too.
Oh yeah, so they're the same thing.
The VR glasses. Yeah, there's 2 of them. They each had one, so you can grab 2 of them if you want, or just one, whatever works for you.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. Cool. And we see running feet up a corridor.
Sure. Let me tell you, in case you want to grab any of this, in rifling their pockets, grabbing the VR glasses type deal. Mm-hmm. Sitka also has some crystal.
Mm-hmm.
She has a flashlight. She has a motion tracker.
I definitely take that.
All right, so add a motion tracker. She has a cutting torch.
Mm-hmm. I take that.
All right, and she has a single dose of Napraleave.
And I take that.
Okay.
I leave the crystal. I don't care about the crystal.
Yeah. All right.
And now the waif has a flashlight if she wants it.
Okay.
And a pistol, in fact.
Okay. She doesn't seem interested in taking the pistol. I mean, if you force it into her hands, she'll take it. But okay.
Hand out and then just like grab her, and I think I tried to hand it to her. She backs away from it, and that's when I grab her hand and we run. And
Fati, in getting her glasses, you see that she has binoculars, she has a med kit, she has crystal, and she has a flashlight. She also has a pistol. She has a pistol in a holster on her waist, and a knife. So any of that you want to grab, you can.
Cool.
You're pretty strong. You can carry a lot. So.
Yeah, I think I've got 2 pistols, right? Because that's just on your waist, right? Just tucked into my belt. I've got the pulse rifle on my back. I've got the pulse rifle in my hands and the axe across my back, and the rest sort of like. Maybe the waif is even carrying like a little, and I'm only taking this stuff some of it in the sense that I might be able to pass it on to another player at some point,
Sure.
But I've got a bunch of it. Nice. So long, Sitka. Oof.
I'll let Jeremy know Sitka's fate. And I think let me just get a sense of where you're going, where we'll pick up with you when we come back. I'm assuming you're going up through the caves to the transport ship.
Yeah, we're going to go to the transport ship, yeah.
And you're going to make your way to the Whaling Town. Like we'll say in the nav computer, it has the coordinates for where this base is that they were referencing. Yeah. And I'm assuming you're going to get to the ship. You're going to fly there. Okay.
Exactly.
So we'll know kind of where to pick up with you then when we come back. Okay, so let's move over to you guys. You've climbed up this rocky path huffing and puffing. It takes you a good 15, 20 minutes. You've gotten to the top to this wide plateau.
I should have asked earlier, but I'm curious whether Baldy or Billy have any weapons.
Baldy, you let us know.
Yeah, I've got a stun baton.
Billy has nothing at all. He has no
Okay.
weapons.
Okay.
He has lots of drugs, but no weapons. And I think we had promised Billy was going to like talk to you as you were going up. And Alan, remind me what it is you were looking to find out. I forget.
Well, I suppose we as players know what happened to Baldy's mum, and about the circlet, and presumably the location of this place. And I guess I'm curious how much of that he spills.
Okay, you wanted to know more about the history with your sister in particular. He's
trying
like,
to resolve what I as player know, and I as character know.
sure. He says, your sister, wow, what a great person. She's the kind of, I mean, she's not someone you talk to. She's someone you listen to. And she had some wild ideas. And look, I just came here, years ago with her because I guess there was some old temple, some sort of alien temple, and I was checking it out, and I figured out how to get in there, and she went with me there, and we found this thing, this circlet, and Kara was excited about it. It had some sort of, I don't know, ability to control things. She was using it to control these robots, and it really gave her some ideas. And she made us all go back again to this creepy ass temple, and we opened it up, and he looks back at Baldy, who's kind of like maybe ahead or lagging behind, and his mother was with us, and there was something inside that temple. It was horrible. It grabbed Danielle, and well, I'm not proud of it, but we ran away, and we promised each other that we wouldn't go back there, and we would leave this place and never return.
So did Kara keep the circlet?
No, she hid it. She left it here. She knew it was doing something to her. It was making her weird and making her crazy. She couldn't get it out of her mind of going back to that temple.
Like here on the planet, or here?
The temple, it's look, I'm not going back there. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, I'm not going back to that temple.
It's just
it's back in the gorge. When we get up there, when we get up to the top of the plateau, there's a gorge, and you go back in there a little ways, and you find this temple.
Okay,
but you don't want to go there. Trust me.
No, well, I think Bryant is now assuming that Weyler-Yutani have already retrieved the circlet, because it wasn't on the far side of the doors with the tentacles. It was on this side, so I'm going to assume.
Right. Yeah, prior to our teaser, those three characters had gone into the temple, and in the outer chamber, they had found this circlet, and then Kara had been using it in her research, and it made her obsessed about it, and she kind of convinced everybody else to go back when Ryder figured out how to open the inner doors to the inner temple. And that's kind of where we picked up with the teaser. That's how that all plays out. So yeah, Ryder begrudgingly shares this with you and makes it very clear he doesn't want to. He doesn't really. I don't even really want to be going up here. Who knows? I know it's been a while and those ships left, but those things were running around up here.
Well, look, I just want to thank you, Billy, for filling in a gap about what I knew about Kara.
And Baldy, Paul, I think you see these guys whispering amongst each other, and when we had left you guys, you had this hint that Ryder might know more about your mother than he ever let on.
Yeah, it's probably just off-worlders talk. I'm going to put it down to, because I'm a local, and clearly I know. I definitely know that Billy was originally an off-worlder before he came here, and this guy Brian. So yeah, I think they're probably just off-world chat. That's what I'm sort of going to put it down to.
Okay. And we pick up then with you guys coming to the top of this path, this rising pathway, kind of like huddled down behind some rocks as it opens up to this plateau. And there should be a map on your screen showing this. So the plateau, there's basically, I guess, 3 sectors. So the northern part of the plateau is relatively flat, and it's like a landing zone. And there are 2 ships on this flat open area to the north of the base. That one is burnt out. It's a transport ship similar to the ones that Noah's going to be flying here in a moment. And it's all destroyed and blown up. It's a total ruin. And then closer to you is what I have on the map is a half burnt out drop ship that is clearly it's suffered some explosive damage. It clearly could not be flown, but you could climb up into it. Maybe there's some salvage to be had. Then the southern part of the plateau, it's more rough. It's rolling. There's large piles of rock here and there, creating a lot of. It's hard to get good eyesight through here, and a lot of cover to use or to be used against you. And you see the hints of these other things you see on the map. So fairly near, you guys are coming up over here, by the way. This is where you're standing, the 3 of you. And not too far from you, like moving a little bit through these scattered rocks, you see what looks like some sort of base, a base camp. There are probably familiar to you, Brian, are these tents, these general issue tents that the Marines would use. But these ones are specially modified to have, again, that sort of ceramic covering. So you see several of these tents, and maybe there's a little bit of smoke rising from that area. And then farther on, a little bit of a hike through this rock field, you see that there are several buildings that kind of look like that picture you see in the upper right of this map. Some older structures, more permanent sort of structures back near this gorge. There's a rock wall. The east side, how far is it? It's probably a couple hundred meters away. There's this rock wall that rises up, and there's a crack in that rock wall, and you see that there's this wide gorge that goes back into this hilly, rocky area away from the base to the east. Any questions about the geography or what you see before you? And it's, like I said, it's that dim light, that dim red light. There's a little bit of wind blowing up here. You're up in sort of an exposed area, high up. And you probably get a pretty good vista around the desert around you. What do you guys do next?
I mean, the obvious question is anyone or anything moving about?
Sure. Paul, you think Baldy's kind of scanning around too?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Billy. Where's the spear located? Because that's what we're here to get.
Where's the what? The part for the ship? Yeah. He says, I don't know. I know that Nakamura promised you, a part for your ship, Baldy. I don't know if I don't know where she kept it. We might check. Maybe the Marines had it. Maybe it's on their drop ship. Maybe it's back in one of the old buildings.
When you say old buildings,
yeah,
that's where the research is being done, though. So they're not old in the sense of old and unused.
Right.
That's the word in the Tani base.
Right. So there are these 4 yellowish circles in the bottom right. These are these old buildings that Kara and Ryder had constructed here years ago. And when they mothballed them, they left them there. And Whaling, Ryder would be able to tell you that the Weyland-Yutani researchers have been using them, the last couple of weeks to do whatever they're doing, trying to figure out Kara's research. So Brian, go ahead and before we forget, make that observation check. Get an extra plus. Give yourself a +2. I think Ryder is nervously looking around too.
Okay, +2.
But then it's dim, so make it +1 only.
Sorry. Right.
Let it go. We'll just let it ride. So you get 2 successes. It's quiet. There's no movement at all.
Okay. Do I have one? Do I have a stunt in my back pocket for when they?
I'll tell you. You can. We'll just do it PBTA style. You can ask a follow-up question. So I'll tell you straight up. There's no movement. You don't see any figures moving around. But you can maybe learn something from looking around if you have a question in mind.
I mean, I haven't. You told me that there was some. I mean, I can see some cages here on the map.
Right.
And I'm curious what condition the cages are in.
Sure. Okay. So let's say that we'll say you're going to make your way at some point over that way. So we'll have a good follow-up question. What's that?
Rather than giving me another, because I don't really have another question that I want to ask, is the hard truth. But if I can have one of those observation stunts, so if something jumps out at us on our way from A to B, if I could play one of those, such as how do I get in, past, or away,
okay,
that would work, I think.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, that works real good. All right, so tell me where you guys are going. Presumably, you're moving away from this cover, going somewhere.
I mean, I'm going to say it's bound to be in the Weyland-Yutani base. They wouldn't, why would the Marines have it?
Yeah, but we might be able to salvage something off of that dropship. We could just use the spare.
Yeah, but the manifolds for those things are they're kind of specific.
Well, I actually do know something about mechanics, so I probably think that they're pretty general, actually.
Well, I'll tell you what. From Bryant's manipulation, you do feel like he's some sort of high-level mechanical genius. So unless something changes, if he were to say, no, I don't think it would be on there, it would probably be over there. You might go with it. So let's give Bryant initiative on that. So Bryant, where do you suggest you guys all go?
No, I mean, I'm very happy because I mean, there's just chaos written all over the next kind of 10 minutes, which is that Bryant heads towards the building, while Aldi heads towards the dropship as another transport appears over the edge of the mesa.
Right. Not yet, but yeah, that's going to happen. Yeah. Are you okay with that? You guys going to split the party? Okay. I think Ryder would go with you, Baldy. He's hesitant, but he sees you moving away, and he's gonna be wait up for me, boy.
Sure.
Safety in numbers, right?
True. Let's get the spear.
All right. So you head towards the dropship, and Bryant, you are heading towards tell me again, the base?
Yeah.
Okay. The dropship, like I said, it's burnt out, although it's not completely destroyed. So you get there, and you can see that there was a firefight around here. There's explosions. There's acid burns, maybe like chunks of xenomorph. Like they aced one here somewhere. So there's a burnt up, blown up xenomorph body. There's blood spray, and looks like some sizable explosion is mostly disabled this dropship. If you had it in a dry dock, maybe you could fix it, but this thing's not flying anywhere. But it's certainly, there might be something inside if you want to crawl in and check it out. Paul, you're muted.
I'll ask Billy to cover me and shout if anything happens out here, and I'll go in, have a look
Okay.
around.
Sure.
I've got a flashlight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead and make a. First of all, you do find the Baldy. You spot the part that you needed. There's a box. It probably says, Weyland-Yutani part 00673, MacGuffin, whatever it is, stabilizer, inertial damper, whatever, whatever gobbledygook thing part you need. So go ahead and put that in your character sheet that you have the part you need for Baldy's ship to be able to fly. Now it's a matter of just installing it and getting it optimized. But go ahead and also make an observation check. And get a +1 because Brian. Oh, actually, he's covering you. So go ahead and make an observation check straight up.
Nothing.
Do you want to push?
Story point to get 1.
Okay. Go ahead. You can also push if you want, or just go with that.
I'll just go with 1.
Okay. There's a new table. You might get something better. There's because this was a firefight with Marines, there might actually be something good here. Let me open up a new table. All right, there should be a new table under searching or finding stuff called Marine gear. Go ahead and roll a D66 on this table. If you look at your 43 M3 armor.
Excellent.
Sure. Let's go ahead and add that to the Baldy sheet.
The Force Ghost of Darius just appears on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Right. And let's check in with Bryant. So Bryant, you make your way. I imagine are you trying to go quickly or quietly?
I think
you can't do both. It's either one or the other.
I think I'm going quickly.
Okay, so you move.
I'm banking on the fact that that these are labeled. They're not just uniforms. So I'm heading past comms and medical and living and heading towards research.
Okay, so making your way from where you started here, making your way towards there, you're at least going to get some eyes on. You pass through that Marine base camp. So you see, like I said, there was a firefight here also, similar to what we described for Baldy. There's body or blood. There's a xenomorph where they trashed one, and bits and pieces of armor and equipment laying around, most of it smoking or acid burned. There's also a sort of portable comm dish attached to a sophisticated looking control panel, and maybe a large heavy duty box that you open up and have a keyboard that it links to this comm dish, and you can see that it's been heavily damaged, but somebody has come in and they've set up like a laptop. They've jury rigged a laptop to control this dish, and they've sort of propped up the dish to be functional. So you can see somebody has come in. This thing was destroyed, but then they've repaired it, and they've presumably maybe it would work. Similar, if you want to pause, you can look around. Maybe you can find something or check things out, or do you want to just keep moving?
No, I can't. I can't. If I'm going to go through this remains of the Marines camp, I have to search for something.
Right. Sure. You continue on. You pass more into the research camp area, and you see to the north of it, set beside the camp area, are these storage containers, solid steel containers that they're all open. And there are about a dozen that are about 3 meters cube. There's one that's about 6 meters cube. And then there's a large area where it's been flattened out, where there clearly used to be a very large container here, but it's been moved or it's gone. And you can see in these cages, they're steel on the outside, but they're all lined with this strange, smooth black rock. All the surfaces inside of these cages, they're more containers than cages, are lined with this black rock. Moving on, you move into the research area.
Is there a chance for me to search to see whether I can find anything useful in that marine camp?
Sure. You'd have to spend a few minutes to kind of pour around if you want to pause.
I've just looked at my gear again, and my most offensive weapon is a flashlight.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make an observation check.
Go. Nothing. I will add stress and push.
Okay.
Because I really am feeling suddenly exposed. And two successes.
Okay. Go ahead and make 2 rolls on that same table that Paul rolled on.
66.
Under marine gear.
62. A med kit. Thank you. I already have a med kit. I will add ×2. And the other is 53. A motion tracker. Which I will switch on.
Sure. Beep, beep. We'll make a power roll, but I'll do it offline when I add all this gear to your equipment list. So don't worry about that for now. So you turn that on, and it makes that thump, 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 thump sound, and nothing, no movement. Maybe you might pick up a little bit of Baldy and Ryder moving around back behind you, but presumably that's normal. Two signals back there.
Then swiftly make up time to get to research.
Sure. So you move into here, and first of all, the comms and medical hut has been blown up. It's completely destroyed. The big comm dish is lying on the ground, smoking ruin. So that building's been destroyed. The other ones are intact. The research building, you make your way towards. It has the door. There's a door to the north. There's a door to the south. I'm guessing you're coming through maybe the south door. You can see that one is, the door is seemed to have been smashed down. The whatever's left of that door is lying inside the doorway. This is one of the largest hut. You want to progress inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking for a terminal.
Sure. You move inside, and it's a wide open area. Let me get an image here. It's like one huge room, and there's all kinds of, clearly this was sort of obviously the research area. There's all kinds of tables and benches and whatnot, and there's all kinds of pieces of robotic equipment, small little robots. There's various terminals. A lot of the stuff is dusty. It looks like it hasn't been touched for a long time, but there are quite a few pieces of equipment, quite a few computers that clearly have been used fairly recently.
Well, that's what I'm interested in.
Sure. There is it's like a big skylight up above you, and you can see, let's see, there's a little bit of that red light shining in, and it's all smashed, the skylight above you, and you can see lying in the middle of the floor a dead xenomorph. There's acid burns all around it, and it's missing its head. A headless, decapitated xenomorph lying in the middle of this room.
That will worry me.
Sure.
Because I've seen dead xenomorphs. When you kill a xenomorph, you don't hang about.
No. And off to the side, there is a door that has been heavily barricaded. All kinds of pieces of metal have been welded together to create a barricade. And because you had that success earlier, you were banking that success in your observation check, I will tell you, this barricade has been designed in a way that there is a little gap at the bottom of the barricade, just big enough for a person to crawl through. So there's this heavily barricaded door, but there's a spot towards the bottom that you can crawl through. You hear the scream of a ship approaching. All both of you guys hear this, and Baldy, you probably look out the window of this drop ship that you're salvaging, and you see a transport ship approaching over the desert, coming in clearly for a landing. The screaming sound of a ship coming in for a landing. These are pretty big ships, probably a good 150 meters long. And over that, you hear that. It's a little more muted for you, Brian, because you're farther away, but you definitely hear that also. I'd like you to make an observation check at, let's see. No. You're going to, yeah. Make an observation check at -1. Yeah, just -1. Observation check at -1.
1 success.
All right. And I got to make a roll here. Okay. Bryant, you are going to get attacked by something, but if you spend a story point, you'll see it coming before it gets to you.
I will spend a story point and see it coming before it gets to me.
There you go. It's really the shadow that you notice. A shadow passes overhead, and the light, that red light is blocked, and you see the shadow of a distinctly xenomorphish looking figure. It's the shadow's projected onto the wall, maybe before you, beside this barricade that you were just looking at. And you turn and you see descending through that hole above you a huge xenomorph, something you've never seen before. It's about usually they're about 2.5 meters high and skinny, but still pretty, heavy. But this one is about 4 meters high. So it really just kind of like steps down inside. It doesn't really even have to drop. It pretty much just allows itself through this hole, and it comes down, and it has a long crest. It has the humanoid shape. It's not, you would probably not know, but it's not a queen. Something else, but it has a crest like a queen, and it looks like, where is it? Looks like this. And it sets itself down, and it's a couple meters from you, and it looks at you, with that eyeless face, and that's where we'll stop. Okay. Yeah. Let's say goodbye to future friends that might watch this. We'll go offline and we'll do a little bit of post advancement, stars and wishes. But we'll see everybody for episode 3 next Sunday. Okay. End broadcast.